The beaver skinning knife. I recently acquired a beaver skinning knife that is alleged to be from the trade era in the U.S. history, which spanned the late 1600s until the 1840s. The handle was replaced, unfortunately. I would guess this to be towards the 1840s into the trade era. The fur trade was vital to the early development of what would be the United States, and the Native American Indian was an important partner in the fur trade, and the Europeans traded cheaply made goods for the furs which they acquired, and they acquired a lot. The fur trade actually goes much further back, as pre-Columbian Native Americans traded among themselves. But with the arrival of the Europeans, the fur trade became one of the main economic pursuits in North America. Fur-bearing animals such as beavers were overly abundant, and there were eager and waiting buyers in Europe. Europeans participated in the trade straightway after their arrival in the New World. The French began their trading in the 16th century, and the English established trading posts on the Hudson Bay in present-day Canada in the 17th century. The Dutch also got involved in trading about the same time in New Netherlands. The history of this trade era is indeed fascinating and actually quite complex. However, what I want to touch on is not so much a history of the era. I want to touch on the items that were traded. So here are some of the types of items traded to the American Indian. Trade of European made a dramatically changed the Native American way of life. Metal pots, some made of copper, were far superior to the Indian-made containers, partly because of very poorly fired local clays. It did not take long for the craft of pottery making and to become a thing of the past. That was a shame, because all cultures had attained some very decorative motifs. While they were not particularly strong, many were particularly beautifully crafted items. Let me add here that while ancient artifacts are abundant and fairly easy to find, on the other hand, trade era artifacts are not often found, at least here where I live in Michigan. Glass trade beads of pretty colors were very popular with Native American women. In my 35 years of hunting for artifacts and relics, I have found at the most 5 glass beads. Silver crosses, as well as ones made of less valuable metal, were also traded, some with very intricate designs on them. In my collection, I had one trade era cross that was made of copper, which was found by a good friend here in Saginaw. For more on that particular piece, please see my video, The Allbird Crucifix. There were also hatchets with a pipe bowl in one end. These were extremely popular items. There was, as can be seen in this image, a variety of axe styles traded, as well as a froe, which is the top center in this particular photograph. Clay smoking pipes were traded also. Most of these are plain white, but a lot of them also have a wide variety of ornamentation, including faces. The Native Americans were very fond of smoking. It is common on prehistoric village and dump sites to find the remains of smoking pipes made of local clay. These Native American made pipes were generally broke fairly easily, and so not that many are found intact. I have seen several prehistoric specimens, though, that had faces on them. Wool blankets were very popular too. So also was a variety of different knives. The introduction of metal knives and also changed Native American culture. The stone knives in use by the Native Americans when the first Europeans arrived were very finely crafted indeed, and have no doubt about it, they were very, very sharp. I once dug a Native American stone knife that measured about 8 inches long, One problem, though, was they could be easily broken, and so the steel knives of the Europeans were very strong. They also became a popular trade item. As I told you in the beginning, this is a beaver skinning knife. While the handle has been replaced, I believe it hails from the 1830s or 1840s. It measures about 11 inches in length and is very, very sharp. Unfortunately, someone ground on the blade to clean it up. That should never have been done. Needless to say, it could also be an incredible blade for personal safety, even today. While I cannot say for certain, I believe due to the sharp blade that this knife was one from the Hudson Bay trading posts. Now, if you have any comments, I would love to see them. Please be sure to leave them in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe. And thank you for stopping by.